Hey everyone, Samantha York here, and today we're talking about something that a lot of people have heard of, but they might not know much about, which is fostering children in Maine. And before we dive into this conversation, I do want to remind you that I am a resource parent myself, and I'm on the path to adopting my daughter, Nova. She was placed with us in 2023, and the entire experience has been so transformative, and it's really opened my eyes to just how many kids and teens in our state are relying on resource families and organizations like Adoptive and Foster Families of Maine to be successful. So I've got a couple people with me today to help us better understand fostering in Maine, what it looks like, how to get involved, all of those things. Megan Sprague is here. She is the Resource Family Program Manager at Adoptive and Foster Families of Maine. Tammy Cutchin is the Kinship Navigator for Cumberland County for AFFM. Thank you guys so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Lots to get to, I know, but I did want to start off by just letting you guys kind of introduce yourselves and tell people a little bit about your role at AFFM.
Sure. So I am, again, the Resource Family Program Manager. So that means that I have staff statewide, and we mostly work with foster and adoptive families and whatever services they really need in order to make sure a child is safe in their home. And a little bit about myself, I've been with AFFM for 16 years now. I started as an intern and just went on.
Nice.
So I am out of our Saco office, and I also have personal experience as well. My parents were foster and then adoptive parents when I was a child, so I have two brothers that were adopted. So it's the mission of AFFM and the work that we do is very near and dear to my heart.
Personal,
Yeah.
for sure. Tammy, what about you?
Well, I am in a previous life, a foster adoptive family, and recently have sort of rolled into being a kinship family. But my role at AFFM is, as I work specifically with the kinship program in supporting, I'm a kinship navigator in supporting kinship families that are placed with nieces, nephews, grandchildren, any kind of a child that has a previous connection with a family. We consider that kinship also.
Okay, yeah, because there is a difference between fostering and kinship.
Yes,
there is.
I want to go into that.
So kinship placement is when a relative or a member of the family steps forward and takes placement of another member of the family's children or the children in the family. And there's also a term that we call them fictive kin, and that's where it can be they place a child with like a teacher who's been a significant part of the child's life, a coach, a neighbor. And so we consider them a kinship placement also. And it differs from foster care in that most foster parents make a conscious decision to step forward and do foster care. And the children that are placed with them, there's not generally a previous connection. Whereas kinship care sometimes can be rather unexpected. Kids are taken into care for safety reasons, and the general belief, which we support, is that children do better in families when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
And so DHHS will look first for a family member that can take placement of the child. So there's that connection. I think it also it's a very complicated dynamic as a grandmother taking care of a granddaughter, trying to navigate my relationship with my daughter and with my granddaughter, sort of added a whole new level to care.
Yeah, for sure. So to give people some perspective, how many children are placed in the foster care system annually?
So currently, there are roughly a little bit more than 2,100 children in DHHS custody, and that's statewide. Placed annually, I'm not quite sure, but those are all the children that are currently
That seems like a high
That's
number.
a high number. Adoptive and Foster Families of Maine, we're not a placing agency,
Mhm.
which means, we have a child, we'll place
Yep.
the child in the home. We offer support services
Right.
to families. So a family could be placed with a child, and then they'll call us.
Yep.
Hey, if it's something simple, like this child came with no clothes, I
Mhm.
need clothes, so we'll do
Mhm.
that. Or I need a little bit more support with, and perhaps there's another family that you can connect me with that's kind of gone through this, so we have mentors that we can match people with. We have support groups, we have
Yeah.
training and things like that. So we get calls daily
Yeah.
about placements. And really, it's an array of whatever the family needs in that moment for that child.
Speaking from kinship care, I would say one of the most important things that we do, because there generally is no training
Right.
prior to placement, is that we help families navigate through different systems,
Mhm.
like through the Department of Health and Human Services, through the court systems.
Mhm.
We offer a lot of support around that, because it can be pretty overwhelming.
Yes.
To understand
To
everything.
understand all
Right,
of
when
it,
a
yeah.
child is first placed with you, to sort of have so many people calling, or this person for that, or that
Right.
person for this.
Right.
And so we just kind of help them find their way through all those systems.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you guys find that are some of the challenges that kids and teens face as they're even navigating this journey themselves?
So teens in particular, what did we say? There's definitely a stigma, I think, that comes along with
Yeah.
teens that are in care.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of times families get licensed because they want a baby or a younger child.
Yep.
And they might think maybe a teen's experienced a lot more trauma, so
They couldn't meet the
that they couldn't
needs.
meet
Right.
their needs. There's, I think educational disruption that's for not just teens, but for all children that are in care. If they're being placed in one home and then they have to be moved to another home and another home, there's just, they're in one school, then they're in another school, so just making sure they're developmentally, maybe they're not where they're supposed to be.
Right.
And
Kind of getting them
the
caught up.
getting them caught up, right, yeah.
And I would like to add too
Yeah,
that
go for
I
it.
think one of the things that children and teenagers find really challenging is trying to stay connected to family,
Yeah.
and that's not necessarily the family of origin that they were removed from. It can be sisters, it can be brothers, it can be grandparents,
Right.
aunts and uncles,
Right.
and that's a really important connection. But
Right.
sometimes when you get into the system and you may be taken away from the family unit in southern Maine,
Mhm.
and the only placement is northern Maine, you tend to lose touch with that, and it's really, really an important piece
Yeah.
for the kids.
And I
Yeah.
think there's also a sense of loyalty with the children as
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
With their, like, this is my birth family. I love my birth
Yeah.
family,
Mhm.
but I'm also being taken care of in this foster home. So
Right.
then it's that, some behaviors might come up or something because there's that divided, they feel maybe that there's a divided loyalty. Like, I have to, I don't know. Like, I love my birth family,
Right.
but I also love my foster
It's very
family.
conflictual.
It's confusing for them.
Yeah.
It's conflictual. It's, which again might bring up some behaviors that
Right. Right. And then
some
you guys
families might not be
familiar
ready for,
with.
familiar
Yeah.
with. So, yeah.
And then you guys can kind of help people navigate the tools and resources
Yes.
that they need
Exactly.
to
Yep.
get that child
Yep.
to be successful in all the
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So, as far as resources go that you guys do provide, I know you talked a little bit about, clothing, stuff like that. What
Mhm.
are some other resources specifically provided to children and to the families that come to you?
So we have, as I mentioned before, we can, for the children. So we do work with an incredible group called YLAT, so it's a Youth Leadership Advisory Team. And this is more specifically for teens that are in care
Mhm.
or who have aged out. They offer support groups, they offer kind of little mentorships as well. And they help teens navigate just the foster care system as well, or
Right.
what do you do after
Mm-hmm.
you're not in that situation. So that's a wonderful organization. We really try to partner with groups like that or organizations like that.
Mm-hmm.
But with us, we have events that we put on throughout the year. We have programs like our holiday gift giving program that's coming up. We have back to school programs.
Mm-hmm.
We have a winter, it's called Snowbusters program. So we try to create or provide whatever support we can to the
Yeah.
child.
I think, to sum it up kind of, would be that we do what we can to support
Yes.
the families.
Yes.
But we also do what we can to take external stressors
Yes.
away so that they can really focus on, it's a big change to have a new member come into your family. And so everybody trying to adjust and accept. And I mean, even if people have, consecutive children, there's still that dynamic of change.
Right.
And I think with this, there's also comes the biological family, the issues, all of that. So what we can take off of their plate, we really like to try to be able to do
Yeah.
and support them going through it.
Right, right. So, and I don't know how much you can speak to this, but as far as licensing goes for becoming a resource parent versus kinship, what does that look like for folks?
When you make a decision to become a foster home, the first step that is generally recommended is that you
Go to an informational meeting.
go to an informational meeting that a Family for Me puts on, which is another program that we work with. And then if you decide after the informational meeting that it's something that you want to pursue, they have applications there, and you pick up the application and you submit it to the department, and then you start the licensing process, which means that they run background checks on you. They come to your home.
Yep.
They assess the safety.
You're familiar with
I am
this,
very
right?
familiar with this, yes.
Kinship families, for the most part, even though we have kinship families, many of them choose to take the resource family training. It's usually done after the child is in their home. And so that looks a little bit different for them. It's the same training, it's just kind of going at it from a different perspective
Right.
because you already have the child placed with
Right,
you.
and it's kind of learning more tools in order to help you.
It's advantageous in that way, yes.
Yeah.
You can learn more tools. If you go through the training, you become licensed.
Right. So then
You
have
get the
DHHS
support of
in
the
your-
department behind you. If you are a kinship family that chooses not to go through the department, which families sometimes do, I
Right.
think they feel like in doing so, they lose some control over the situation, which is really scary for them.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
As far as needing resource families, I mean, have you heard, like, I'm guessing with the number that we talked about, there are a lot of
Yes.
kids that are in homes right now, but more calls come in every day about people that need a safe place to stay. I mean, how badly do we need resource families in our state?
We need them very badly, yes. And like you had said, that's historically, that's a very high number.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's not just in one area. I think the entire state could benefit from having more homes. I mean, you might see more numbers in, Cumberland County or Penobscot County, those
More
more
populated.
populated areas. But that does not mean there's still not a need in Aroostook County or Hancock County. It's all, I'd say,
There's always a
statewide.
need.
There's always a
Yeah.
need.
And especially, I think, with older children, because I can just speak from my own personal experience that when I first started doing foster care, I felt very overwhelmed about considering an older child. I also had smaller children in the home, and I had some anxiety about that. So I started doing children sort of younger than the birth age of my biological children. But older children, I eventually started to take teens in, which was just an amazing experience. And I think it's more about the confidence, of yourself as a family and of being able to make it work than anything to do with the kids.
And I mean, I can speak for myself with my own daughter. I mean, the transformation that I've seen
Yeah.
with her, just to have the stability and consistency that she has. I mean, it's incredible. And it makes me wonder, what would the lives of these kids look like if resource families weren't there, if your organization wasn't there? I mean, can you kind of put that in perspective for people?
If our organization wasn't there, I mean, we don't want to toot our horn too much, but yeah, I mean, so our former director, she's now our kinship program manager, she came out of retirement, but she started this organization just for that reason. I mean, she saw families that needed support, and again, that's any support that families are in need of, and just, we've seen it be successful.
I think doing foster care and adoption
Yeah.
and kinship care kind of shifts your family
Yes,
into
it does.
a realm that's outside of
Yes.
the, the main road of
Yeah.
families and parenting. And it's incredibly important to have people around you, support systems around you that understand the specialized issues that you're
Right.
dealing with, because it can be very different
Right.
from what your, I use this term loosely, normal
Right.
Traditional,
family
yeah.
looks
Right.
like. And to me, that's just invaluable. And I think our director, or I guess
Former.
the kinship director,
No, yeah.
she really realized how important that was and how significant. And that's sort of where the idea of our organization started from,
Right.
is
Yeah.
that just being able to bring people together who understood the issues, the special
Yeah.
issues that you were dealing with.
Yeah.
So a lot of the staff at AFM have personal experience.
All of them in
Most-
our
all
office
of them.
do,
All
yeah.
of- yeah, so it's not a requirement, but
Yeah.
that's just,
It adds like an
just
extra
adds
layer,
that
though.
extra, hey, I get it. I
Yeah.
come from, I know what your kids are going, I may know what your kids are going through,
Yeah.
because I had siblings that were in the foster care system,
Right.
so I grew up with,
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
like,
that's just,
It's
so.
it's an interesting dynamic.
It's a definitely interesting dynamic, yeah. But it adds that, when you're talking to a family and you can say, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I totally understand where you're coming from. I've been there too. Here's, and we can say, here's what helped me, or here's some resources that we can guide you towards that
Yeah.
may be useful.
Well, and Megan, I think it's just interesting because Megan grew up as the sibling in a foster
Right.
home.
Yeah.
And I was the foster parent.
Mm-hmm.
And even the connection between Megan and my children
Yeah.
is really special because
Sure.
they just
Get
understand
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
what it's like,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
of larger families, you know, some of the craziness,
Yeah.
a lot of the happiness.
Yeah. I know a lot of the kids and teens, they can have some pretty traumatic backgrounds. And so being able to navigate the behaviors and other things that come with that, it can be a challenge for sure. And I think having that community to lean on and to be able to look at you and say, hey, I get it. This is really hard some days. But there are people and organizations out there that are willing to help. For people who maybe they're not thinking about becoming resource families per se, but they just want to help out and maybe help out your organization. What are some donations or items that you guys are looking for kind of throughout the year, or are there things that people might not even think of that you guys could use?
So we are always monetary. I feel kind of gross saying it, but monetary donations are always helpful. And the reason for that is because our programs, our back to school program, our holiday gift giving program, they are all made by donations. So we really call on our community to help us with those programs and to fulfill whatever requests that we get with those. So monetary donations. What were we saying? Snow pants. We're always needing snow pants and snow boots. That's always something we're.
For our school program, school supplies, for our Christmas, well, we'll go into that a little bit
Yeah, we're in the
later,
middle
but-
of, so it may seem early, but we are in the middle, actually almost towards the end of our holiday gift giving program.
Yeah.
So we start in September, we go to the beginning of, actually middle of November, we stop taking requests. And then we start kind of getting into, all right, now we have to fill these 1,300 kids that have
Yeah.
signed up for holiday gifts. So that's, again, we reach out to our community members and
Yep.
say, hey, we have this many kids that we need gifts for, or for the teens, gift cards.
Mm.
Always need gift cards so they can either get their own thing or, yeah, it's $75 value for each, but those are, in this moment, our biggest.
From the
biggest
kinship
need.
perspective, I think, and once again, it is the monetary donation, because many times you have grandparents who have retired or living on Social Security, and they go from being a family of 2 to a
Right.
family of 5.
Yeah.
And, until
It's a
they
big change.
do, if they choose to take the training, to get some reimbursement and financial help from the department, there's always a lag time. And so many times it's just overwhelming for them, and their homes aren't prepared,
Or
And so,
they have to come out of, some are, in retirement homes. They've sold their big
Yes.
house
Right.
and they downsized, and then their grandchildren come into care. It's like, here are 5 of your grandchildren.
Right.
It's like,
It's a
"Ooh,
big
we need a new
change.
house. We need to,
so it's a real
yeah, so
struggle
it's
for them.
it's a big
Yeah.
struggle. And then it's oil and food and all
Electric
of those,
and-
electric, like all of those are very, yeah, Tammy.
Yeah,
Yeah, Tim
that's
works with a lot of families
I
that-
mean, I do a lot of material support,
Yeah.
but there's only so much that we do.
Mm.
But most of our requests are financial, like,
Yeah.
I'm behind on a mortgage payment.
Mhm.
I haven't been approved for childcare subsidy,
Right.
and I've got my part-time job
Mm,
now.
right.
It's just a real struggle for the kinship families in that capacity.
Right, right. Well, I feel like it's even more reason then for organizations like Adoptive and Foster Families of Maine to exist, because you guys are helping people navigate a lot and get the support that they need. Is there anything that we might have missed during our conversation that you think is important for people to know, or any final thoughts?
I do want to say, so November is Adoption Awareness Month, so I just want to put that plug in there. I know we were talking a lot about foster care, which is extremely important as well. Foster Care Awareness Month is in May. So just, it is Adoption Awareness Month.
And I think it's important to put out there too that how appreciative
Yes.
the families and the children are with what we do, and we couldn't do it without all the help that we get from
Right.
the community.
Right.
There's no way, and they are so appreciative.
Yeah, and I also want to, I say this too, I think foster parents are unsung heroes too. I don't think they get enough credit. I think they have a lot thrown at them sometimes, and it is hard to navigate what's going on in their homes, but we are so grateful and appreciative of what you do, what foster parents do. I mean, it's hard work, and so. we
And
really
it's
do.
24/7 work.
24/7.
24/7.
It's 24/7.
Yes, but it's
Never
worth
end.
it. It is worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, no
Yeah.
doubt.
And I can say
Definitely.
personally, like, if you've thought
Yes.
about it, do it.
Yeah.
Because it will change your life, it will change their life.
I have
and-
7 adoptive children.
That's incredible.
So if I can say it's worth it, it is definitely
Yes.
worth it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
they have brought me so much joy and so much happiness. Not that there haven't been rough patches along
course,
the way,
of
but
course.
I would encourage anybody to consider it.
And to have a sense of humor, you gotta.
Oh,
have
you
a sen-
gotta
you
have a
gotta have a
sense
sense of
Yep,
humor.
that is
As
true.
I mean, you're gonna get thrown things that are whoop whoop, and you just
Yes,
have
you
to
will.
just laugh about it.
Exactly.
With whoever you can.
Yep.
And just
Yeah.
let's try this again
Yes.
tomorrow or
Yes.
in an hour.
Find your
But
people
Find your
and
people.
laugh.
Find your sense of humor. But yeah, it's worth it.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much
Well,
for
thank you
coming
for having us.
in
Thank you.
and
This was
shining some
great.
light on this. Really, really appreciate it. And of course, anybody who's watching, thank you for tuning in. You can learn more about Adoptive and Foster Families of Maine, the resources they provide, how to get involved, how to donate, all of that right on our website and app.